Check the mic and make sure it sound right.
And I hope the mic does sound right. Hi, I'm DK Will. This is DK Will Talk About It, and I want you to take a good gander at that map right there. I'm going to explain its significance as we go along here, but take a good look at it. It's a satellite view of the globe, pretty much all the inhabited land on Earth. And if you're like me, you probably noticed there's a little bit of disparate distribution there with a whole bunch of it over there at the United States, whatever this represents. A lot of it is at the United States of America. And I also want to bring your attention to this thumbnail. It's one of the videos I did in the past, Be Awake, Be Alert, something of that nature. I don't remember the exact date because I didn't look it up before I recorded this. I'm sorry, but you can't forget the screenshot. I'll be taking some excerpts from that video because, as I've said many times, I don't like to do double work. But since I'm getting more and more viewers, I think I need to draw attention to more and more of my past work because it's still timely. So between that map you just saw and this, I just want you to put those in your memory banks, and I want you to refer to this later after you watch this video for some more meat on these bones. More meat in this stew, because there's already meat on these bones. But let's get into it. And to get into it, we're going to have to start from the very beginning here, because these excerpts are taken from Genesis. And I'm going to read them to you. It says, Then God said, Here I have given you every seed-bearing plant that is on the entire earth, and every tree with seed-bearing fruit. Let them serve as food for you. And to every wild animal of the earth, and to every flying creature of the heavens, and to everything moving on the earth in which there is life, I have given all green vegetation for food. And it was so. After that, God saw everything he had made, and look, it was very good. Further, God planted a garden in Eden toward the east, and there he put the man whom he had formed. Thus God made to grow out of the ground every tree that was pleasing to look at and good for food. Now you'll notice it says, and I've highlighted, every seed-bearing plant that is on the entire earth to serve as food for you. God saw it, and he's the standard of what's right. He said it was very good. And so he made it to grow, and he gave Adam and Eve a good, healthy start in a beautiful garden for beautiful food, just like you see in the picture before you. It should make you wonder about something. And I think one of those things it should make you wonder about, as much as it's appealing and convenient and everything else, why are they genetically modifying seedless fruits? Why are they making fruits that don't have seed-bearing abilities for you to be able to make your own fruit? You see, this article says 24 genetically modified seedless fruits you hardly knew about. And then here's how a botanist defined a fruit. A botanist would say that a fruit is a sweet-smelling, ripened ovary of a flowering tree or plant containing one or more seeds and can be eaten. If so, then are there really any fruits without seeds? Here we'll find a list of fruits with no seeds that were developed. A list of fruits with no seeds that were developed with the help of hybrid pollination. Okay, now the list is not nearly as important as the fact that for your convenience you have seedless fruit. And I enjoy it too. But let's keep it in perspective. You have, without going through the science of it, the water apple, the watermelon, the persimmon, the pineapple, the grapefruit, the lime, the tangerine, the fig, the apple, the banana, the blackberry, the breadfruit, the cactus pear, the cantaloupe, the cucumber, the eggplant, the grapes. Of course, we get those, guava, loquat, I don't even know what that is, papaya, peach, pear, java plum, tomato, and so on. That's a list of some genetically modified foods that don't have any seeds. Why does man want to improve put that in quotation marks, on what God has already done and said was very good. That's the focus of this video.
Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. If it is the goal of the New World Order to maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature, what do you think they're going to do with the other 7.3 billion people?
So what do you think they're going to do with the other 7 point who knows how many billion people? Well, here's another surprising truth all should know, just like the genetically modified food. And this is an article that's a dozen years old. There is a seed bank in Antarctica for the creation of a new world after our doomsday. So apparently, those who created this seed bank in the one continent where you cannot go without permission, and there's a big old wall of ice before you can get on it, they understand the importance of seed-bearing fruit, don't they? To be able to store seed. How long of a seed have they stored? They call it gene barrels, as in chromosomes. Gene barrels in Antarctica are the easy solution to the long-term survival of humanity, because after the Doomsday Wars, there will need to be a source for recovery of the genetic heritage of billions of years of evolution of the life on Earth. Now, they want to say billions of years of evolution. Who knows how long God took to do it, but it was created. It did not evolve. Here's how far we evolve. You get in the sun, you'll get burned or you get a tan. You work hard with your hands, you'll get calluses. Okay? You lift weights, you'll get bulky. You can evolve. That's about as far as it goes. But you ain't gonna turn a monkey into a man. Okay? And you ain't gonna turn a frog into a rabbit. God created everything according to his kind, just like these seeds that they recognize need to be kept. For what purpose? It is only in Antarctica, the continent where you cannot go, where we can be certain of 1,000-year storage of seeds, and it is upon the food that these seeds will create that humanity will thrive. What humanity? Apparently only the 500 million they expect to be around after their so-called doomsday. It says here, with the destruction of many, if not most, of the food-producing crops in the currently habitable world at doomsday, the surviving humans will have a pitifully small number of foods from which to choose. It is very difficult to know, but people might be reduced to eating what we now consider to be slime. People who aren't prepared, and I'll continue in this video. The problem becomes how to get large quantities of every possible gene into a safe and very cold storage place where they can survive totally untended by humans for thousands of years. So they have a plan. That takes me to the opening of this video. Because that image that I had you look at, where it's disparately, overwhelmingly on the United States side, but obviously also all over the planet, was an updated list of 100 plus U.S. food, water, and energy infrastructure plants that have been destroyed. Put that in perspective. This is most recently updated on July 15th of this year. Look at this list, and I will put the link in the description because for time's sake I can't go over it all. But look at this list of places that have been destroyed. This is, keep in mind, 100 plus food banks that have been destroyed. Take a look at what I'm showing you if you're looking, and if you're not, I'll do a quick rundown. We have a 75,000 square foot processing plant, Smithfield Foods pork processing, Kellogg plant, Tyson's plant. Moving on, we have Made Right Steak Company, just bouncing around, folks. Bonanza Meat Company. We have down here Shearer's Food potato chip plant, Deli Star Meat plant, chickens destroyed at egg farms, Price of eggs has gone up, haven't they? Dairy farm fire killed cows. We have more chickens that are destroyed, turkeys that are destroyed. We have turkeys destroyed and chickens destroyed. Are you seeing what they are doing to the food supply, folks? Are you seeing what they are doing to the food supply? A plane crashes into a General Mills food factory. Really interesting place to land down. 5 million honeybees killed when flight carrying the pollinator insects from California to Alaska was diverted to Georgia. We've already seen that they are destroying food processing plants in the United States. And for those of us who are old enough to know, the United States used to be called the breadbasket of the world because we supplied so much crop out of this fertile land by exports to help feed other countries. But what you see in front of you is a thing about bees, and what people are not aware of is the importance of bees when it comes to pollination. Bees are one of the most common pollinators and manage to visit several different plant species in a single afternoon. They land on various plants and collect pollen and nectar, which they carry back to their hives. As they travel from plant to plant, they deposit pollen on the female reproductive organs of new plants. The transfer of pollen allows for fertilization. Pollination is perhaps the most important function of bees, particularly honeybees. And that's
Research
how
shows that bees
you
are
get
responsible
your
for pollinating
seeds.
approximately 60%
Right there.
of global flower. The point I'm making is that they have come up with a narrative to destroy the bees. So they're destroying the factories, and they're destroying the bees that pollinate. In other words, we're not going to provide you food from your supply line that you're used to, the Walmart distribution centers and the grocery stores. We're not going to allow you to be able to go out and reach for what God provided since the Garden of Eden, fruit-bearing trees of all sorts to eat from. We're going to make it impossible for those to even pollinate and reproduce themselves while we control and cut off your food supply. That is what's happening, people. And that is where we need to be awake and alert. So are you awake and alert? If you are, then you know that there's a war going on. There's all kinds of wars going on and all kinds of distractions to keep you from paying attention while you eat your seedless fruits and vegetables. This type of war right here. Listen in again to the prior video. And I'm going to begin to answer that question by starting out with this Harvard Business Review article that was put out back in a magazine in 2002, but it talks about maneuver warfare. Maneuver warfare. If it is a goal to eliminate 7 point who knows how many billion people from the earth, isn't the attempt to kill off a population of humans genocide? Isn't that warfare? Well, I'm going to cover some things that are going on in our time today that hopefully will help the audience that clicks on this video see that we are under attack and warfare tactics are being used. And so I'm going to show you what maneuver warfare is, and then think about the circumstances of today. Maneuver warfare represents, in the words of the United States Marine Corps Doctrinal Manual, warfighting, a state of mind bent on shattering the enemy morally and physically by paralyzing and confounding him, by avoiding his strength, by quickly and aggressively exploiting his vulnerabilities, and by striking him in a way that will hurt him most. Its ultimate aim is not to destroy the adversary's forces, but to render them unable to fight as an effective coordinated whole, unable to fight as an effective uncoordinated whole of humanity. For example, instead of attacking enemy defense positions, maneuver warfare practitioners bypass those positions, capture the enemy's
command and control center in the rear, media, and cut off supply lines. I've mentioned in the past how they have this sick code of letting you know what they're going to do, and they've been letting us know since 2004, after the 2001 incident that happened in New York City with the Twin Towers. But since its inception, they've had a National Prepared Month that's observed each September, and here it comes, folks. It's observed each September. Have you been listening? Have you been getting prepared? Because it mentions here that FEMA and the Department of Homeland Security encourages Americans to take steps to prepare for emergencies in their communities. Now, they are having this warfare against you and reducing your supply chain. But see, you can do something about it, because they make it a point to let you know you better get prepared. Prepare to protect before disaster strikes. So National Prepared Month is a thing, folks. But I say get prepared now, every month. Because as you have seen, inflation has gone completely out of control. As much as you are loving your seedless fruits, they prevent you from being able to have seeds to make your own. That's not by accident. And if you watch my prior video about be awake as keys, be alert, take note, or starve, that was done a year ago, you'll get a whole lot more information addressing this specific issue, folks. Because they know they have a need for seed. They know they have a need for seed. The same seeds that God made from the very beginning. But if you look at an updated list of all the food plants are being destroyed, you would see that even your ability to go to the grocery store is going to be a little bit handicapped, because those will be wiped out in no time, right? And disasters are happening by the ton. You can see here, I started earlier. Let me just go back to the first one, and I want to show you something. These are declared disasters to show that if you think you're safe and you're not going to be touched by it, you're wrong. You see here, this is a complete list, and we can say Montana, Mississippi, New Jersey, Hawaii, and Alaska. Let's go to page 2. We can see Washington, Oregon, New York, Minnesota, Oklahoma, Vermont, Washington, Vermont, South Dakota. Let's go to number 3. Maine, North Dakota, Washington, Arizona, Commonwealth of Typhoon Mawar and Mariana Islands, Guam again, U.S. territories, Tennessee, New Mexico, Kentucky, Alabama, Nevada, Florida, Texas, Oklahoma. Let's go again. I'm going to number 5, folks. Indiana, Rhode Island, Kansas, Navajo Nation, Kentucky, Nebraska, Tennessee, Arkansas, California, Arkansas. Let's go to number 6. And there's a reason I'm doing these pages. New Mexico, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, New York, California, Bear River, Tennessee, Muskogee, South Dakota, Sioux Tribe, North Dakota, Oregon, Georgia, Alabama. 61 through 70, and I'm still getting dates that are in 2023. So what can we do about it? Because see, the battle of being the breadbasket is coming to a head. And farming even requires a license now. Some cities don't let you grow gardens in their home while they feed you seedless fruit, as a part of that strategy of decapitating your ability to care for yourself. So it's time to do something about it now. Well, you might start by remembering who created the seeds in the first place. You might start by remembering what it says here, your grand creator, before the days of distress and disaster come. The one who created the heavens and the earth and spread out the earth and its produce, who gives you and me and everybody walking the breath of life and the spirit to walk about with it. You might want to start there because in the end, that's going to be the only thing that will help us. But you've heard so many times it said, the Lord helps those who help themselves. Consider this. Consider getting prepared as best as you can, as they have said we need to do. And what that means is now first let me state, I use this outlet, Legacy Food Storage, and have bought things from them. I am not sponsored by them. If you choose to use them, drop a bead for me and maybe they'll hunt me down and start sponsoring me for drawing attention to them. But there's other places out there, Patriot, this or that, whatever. There's other food sources out there that store emergency food. But if you haven't stored emergency food yet, you might want to start considering it. How many people do you need to survive for, say, 2 or 3 months? If you have 2 or 3 months, 2 or 3 people, 2 meals a day, how many servings will you need? Do you have enough water? Have you been collecting water? Do you have a filtration system if you have not? What if you have to hit the road and can't carry water with you? Do you have something to clean water so that you can drink water? Because without water, we die. More importantly, have you committed and created yourself a survival kit and a bug out kit, a bug out bag? Have you gotten a bug out bag ready like it says here? Deluxe 2-person bug out bag for only $160. And with this bug out bag, look at all the things you get. You get the backpack. You get the first aid kit. You get the tactical flashlight. You get 2 3,060 calorie food bars. You get gloves and forks and spoons and tents and hand warmers, and you don't have to go do it separately. GI can openers. I don't get sponsored by these folks. I wish I did. What I'm doing is sponsoring you and hoping that if you came and watched this channel, that you realize that we need to be prepared. It's one thing to be prepared and maybe your preparations didn't quite cut mustard as much as you had hoped they would. It's a whole nother thing to not be prepared at all. Because if you have a bug out bag, a go bag, or whatever you want to call it, and you take off running with that go bag and things happen, you have to start deciding to lose some weight, at least you got weight to lose and a choice to make. Because they are wiping out our food supply. There's no question about it. They are handicapping everyone and making it difficult for you to grow your own food, difficult for you to buy your own food, while they store up food in preparation for what they consider doomsday. And this is just one of the slick ways they do it. So that battle continues, folks. It's coming to a head. An entitled United States may eventually fall prey to the communistic viewpoints of China. I'm politically neutral. Survival on the earth is survival on the earth. So start surviving. Get ready for it. It's coming. I'm DK Will, and this is DK Will Talk About It. I've talked about it. Have a wonderful day.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right.